Hello, everybody. Small Business Stacey here, talking about money, 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 money. Every small business owner right now during COVID-19 is looking for something green, something called money. And that's why I am so excited to have with me Maggie Rife, CPA, who's going to help you learn about all the different funding options that are available to you as a small business owner. Well, hi, I'm Small Business Stacey.
I'm Digital Dave.
Where marketing
meets technology.
Welcome, Maggie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you serve, and how you help.
Okay, so I am in Columbus, Indiana, but I do work remotely, so I can help people all over the country. I am a CPA with, I think this was my 12th tax season, so quite a bit of experience there with taxes. And I actually went on my own to serve small businesses specifically, and even more like niche down into startups, because I really like to help startups get everything organized and kind of help them navigate the systems and, help relieve some of the pressure and confusion. So I do bookkeeping, taxes, and accounting for small business.
Well, fantastic. You are in the right place at the right time, because so many small business owners need your help right now. During COVID, the great news is there's a lot of help available to small business owners. But on the negative side, it's overwhelming. It can make your head spin. There's all these acronyms. There's CARES, PPP, EIDL, what does this stuff mean? So Maggie, give us some clarity today. Kind of paint the picture, because I know it's changing every day. What's going on out there, and what is available to help small business owners when it comes to getting some different funding options?
Okay, so with the CARES Act, there's basically two major loan programs. One is the EIDL that actually was already in place before the CARES Act. It's a loan program through the SBA for areas where there's been a federally declared disaster, which is the whole country right now. So pretty much every small business owner, whether you're you have employees, you're a sole proprietor, you're a 1099 contractor, you're an Uber driver, if you are self-employed, you can go apply for the EIDL. So I think a lot of people don't realize what is considered self-employed. So if you're picking up, if you're doing Instacart, Uber, I don't know, any of those other on-demand services where you get paid as a 1099 contractor, you're also self-employed. So
okay.
Don't miss out.
This is the first time they've ever made something like that available, right?
Yeah. So the EIDL, that's one program that's directly applied to through the SBA.
Okay.
All these acronyms.
Right.
So that's directly applied to through the SBA's website. And that is basically to help small businesses cover cash flow. So even payables, and if you have, for myself, I have a lot of software. The payroll protection program, that's the other loan. That's not really meant for regular payables like my software. That's meant to cover payroll expenses and rent and utilities and a couple of other things, but that'll probably be too much detail for this webinar. But so the economic disaster loan has an advance of up to $10,000. Now everyone keeps hanging on to $10,000, but even in the CARES Act itself, I read it after it was passed, that third piece of the CARES Act, and it did say in there up to $10,000. It never promised exactly $10,000, so don't expect that to be deposited into your bank account. Also, it's taking a long time to get the money out to people. The SBA systems, the computer systems, were not big enough, I guess, to handle all these requests. So there are delays in processing, but they are processing the loan. So you will get it eventually, but don't include it in this month's budget.
So let me ask you a question. You say, it's the up to, right? It's that small print with the asterisks. How are they determining how much a small business can get?
Right now, that is a mystery. There are conflicting, there's conflicting information on there. The SBA isn't being very forthcoming with information for the actual business owners. Like, I don't know how they're determining that. Some people are saying $1,000 per employee, but I haven't seen that in writing on any kind of like actual, like official guidance from the SBA. I've only seen that on Reddit and in angry tweets, so I'm not really sure.
Ah.
I don't take that as real information. I'm waiting for a regulation because I love my regulations.
Well, also the people in my community, they probably don't follow the SBA legally, so to speak. So can you simplify things and explain what the difference? There's grants, there's loans, there may be other
Yeah.
things I'm even
So
unaware. What's the difference between all of those?
a grant doesn't have to be paid back. So if you apply for this EIDL through the SBA, and you get a grant of some unspecified amount, it'll be less than $10,000 probably, or up to 10,000. You don't have to pay that back. Even if you get denied for the EIDL, or if you get approved for it and you say, no, thanks, I don't want it, you still get to keep the grant. But the caveat is you keep the grant money, but that reduces the forgivable portion of the payroll protection loan. So you're not going to be able to double dip.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you can't use the same payroll expenses for the payroll protection program that you use for the EIDL loan, or if you take the payroll credits that are out there. So there's no no triple dipping, no double dipping.
Well, okay. So here's a question for you. So I'm being impacted. My coffee smoothie business shut down right now because we do catering and there's no catering. So I'm certainly looking at the options that are open to me. I happen to reside in Maryland, and Maryland has its own grant and funding programs in addition to the SBA. Can you, as you say, double dip and apply for both?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I'd have to take that on a state by state basis.
Okay.
Um,
Or would
I
you
haven't.
encourage small business owners to also look at their state in addition to these
Yes.
SBA options?
Yeah, definitely check out your state. Also, if you are unemployed or even just partially unemployed, if your hours have been reduced or your pay has been reduced, you should go to your unemployment office and apply because they're relaxing the rules for unemployment and increasing the benefits. So they're just trying to like shore up all the wages that they can.
Well, great. We're getting a full house here. We've got David, Jen, Chastity. Thanks for tuning in. And if you have questions for Maggie, please type those in. She really is doing her best to stay on top of all the new guidelines. She keeps saying it changes every single day. I can't keep up. And I heard as of today, they're even pumping more money into the economy.
Yeah, they're working on a fourth part of the CARES Act, so we'll see what happens with that. I don't really like to report on things that haven't happened yet because it changes every day, so it'd just be a rumor at this point on the dollar amounts and what's going to happen, because as you can see from the third part of the CARES Act, it seems like nothing has gone according to plan, so I don't want to put any more rumors out there.
The new, yeah, plan on things changing day by day. So a small business owner, you've laid out all these different options. What should they plan on having ready so that they can effectively apply and get approved, hopefully, for some of these funding options?
So they want to make sure they have their profit and loss and balance sheets up to date for this year, and have last year's tax returns ready to go for their business, and have, if they have payroll, all their quarterly payroll reports ready to go, and their year-end payroll reports. Like, I don't know if anyone would know what these are, but like a 941. That's why
working with you is a great solution, right? Because just call Maggie.
So, right.
For you.
Those are the 941s for quarterly, the 940 for yearly, and then you've got the tax returns. Those are the biggest pieces. And then for the EIDL, and maybe for the payroll protection program too, they might request a personal financial statement. So you'll need to know even all of your personal debts, like what the
Are
balances
they
are.
requiring a personal guarantee on these? Do you know?
Not on, let me see my notes. No. For the Payroll Protection Act, no personal guarantee
Okay.
or the payroll protection loan. And then for the EIDL loan, no personal guarantee for loans under 200,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's no collateral required for the, can I just call it the PPP? No collateral required for that one. And then for the EIDL, no collateral for loans, I think under 25,000. Yeah, I think that's right.
There's
Or
been
close.
a lot of talk about this PPP program. And so I know that many of my clients, they have employees. Do you know enough information to explain how it works? And because I know some of my clients are struggling. Do we let people go? Do we keep them on?
Ooh, yeah.
Things are going to
So
come through in a month. We're going to ramp up. You know, we want to be ready to go.
if you're getting the payroll protection program money, for it to be forgivable, or for it to be like 100% forgivable,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be paid. 75% of it has to be used for wages,
Mm.
and you have to have the same amount of employees as you did. I think it's February 15th, as when you apply for forgiveness. And if your employees fluctuate through the year, you can use like your average number of employees. So they just want to, like, even if you've already laid people off, you can hire them back on and it'll still count as having kept them. So they're just they want to make sure people keep their jobs basically.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is a
Yeah.
great way that if you've built a great team around you and maybe your revenue has slipped off, the government is encouraging you to keep those people on board. So when we come through this, you're just boom, ready, back in business. And so they're basically covering your payroll costs as long as you continue to pay them through this. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. They're just trying to keep everything going for 8 weeks. That's their goal, is to just to make it through 8 weeks, I guess, and then hopefully have everyone open the doors like nothing happened, and everyone will just start going shopping again and going back to work, right?
That's what we're all praying for. Yes, absolutely. All
Yeah.
right. Anybody from my audience, do you have any questions for Maggie? Just type those in the box. Maggie,
Can I see the box? Oh,
you
wait, let
cannot
me
see the
see.
box.
Okay.
It's up on Facebook, so we're sort of streaming live into the group.
Okay.
And I don't see any in the webinar portion of it. When it comes to filling out the forms online and applying for these, does the business owner have to do it themselves, or could they hire somebody like you to do it for them?
They could hire me to help them complete the forms and collect the right data, because I think sometimes it is hard to figure out what different forms are asking for if you're not familiar with, working with payroll and finance. But as far as like actually taking on the loan, I think you have to be a 20% owner, but don't quote me on that because I don't know that. I think that's more of an attorney question.
Okay. Okay. Are there any mistakes that you're seeing small business owners make when it comes to looking at and or applying for these loans? I mean, maybe a
Well,
little too early. I
not
mean,
really.
are you
The only
finding they are getting approved? They're not getting approved for what they thought, or could
the
anybody be
only
denied?
it's moving so slowly, we haven't even been able to see the mistakes because nothing has happened. Like everyone's just waiting. Everyone's applied, and like they're not getting any feedback yet because none of the system, most of the systems are not up. So
Yeah.
it's just total quiet right now. We're waiting to see what happens, what comes back. So yeah, really, they haven't made any mistakes on their end. The mistake was following the instructions and expecting it to happen in 3 days, but that's not anything they're doing.
Well,
All the
actually, one of my clients, a dental practice, they had applied on the first day, right, when all this
Yeah.
was announced. And it took them like almost 3 hours to fill out the paperwork. This was through the
Oh
SBA.
wow.
And
Yeah.
then they got notified because then there was all these complaints that it was complicated and then the SBA couldn't even figure it out and process it. So they said, oh, we've changed the process.
I
So
know. I actually applied on April. I only have one employee, so mine's pretty simple and it's not very big either, but I applied on April 26th. And they said, oh, it's under review. I got like to the second step, I guess, is what the operator told me. But then I got another email that said I need to reapply on the new
yes,
website.
that's what happened to them. They got an email that had
So
to
yeah, that's
reapply.
something.
So then they
If
called.
you applied for the EIDL and you didn't check
number
the, yeah.
956 in the queue to be on
Oh,
hold.
I got right through when I called. I was so surprised.
Wow, you must have the magic touch. That's awesome.
I don't even know. Yeah. But I was listening to, this was last week, so it may have changed a lot since then, but I was listening to not a podcast, a webinar from the SBA about the loans. And they were saying call like 24 hours a day, call and off hours if you want to get through. But I'm not sure you'll get any information because they're hiring just customer service, like contractors, I guess, or phone operators to answer the phones. They don't really have any information about your particular account.
Yeah.
So they'll just tell you to wait and be patient. Like the operator I got told me to have faith and hope. I was like, oh,
hope
great.
and pray. I always say that's not a good marketing strategy. I guess it's not a good funding strategy either.
So I was in the military for 13 years before being an accountant, and I worked in logistics. And I knew it wasn't going to happen in 3 days. I told my husband that. I said, Rick, they said this is going to happen in 3 days, and he's also a vet, and he just rolled his eyes like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just such a big number of people. It's not possible.
That's what I was. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well, this is new for all of us, and they just did not have the infrastructure in place for sure. But on the positive side, I am so glad to see that there's finally financial support for small business owners, and from everybody, to the individual, to the gig worker, the independent contractor, the small business owner, and large companies, because this has impacted everybody all around.
I think it's actually it's a really good bill. It's just the timing. It's just going to take time to get it in place. And next time something like this is implemented, it'll be a lot smoother.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
We just have to wait for it to happen. So yeah. Oh, and you can apply for both loans. That's one thing, but you can't pay for the same expenses with both loans.
What do you mean by that?
So like if you're paying for payroll costs out of your EIDL, you can't go and get a payroll protection loan to pay for those payroll costs, but you can roll your EIDL into a payroll protection program loan. So then it would become forgivable for those costs. And I think they did that because they thought the EIDLs would be up and running way before the payroll protection program loans, but it looks like it might be the reverse of that. So I don't know but that's just a point there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're kind of suggesting that a small business owner should really apply for everything, see
and
what
just
they
see
get.
What gets first. Yeah.
And then
yeah. Because you might need both anyway. You might, like, I don't have a lot of overhead. Obviously, I'm a sole proprietor with one part-time employee. But so like if you are a construction company and you have to buy materials, you're going to need an EIDL for the materials. And then you're going to need the PPP for payroll.
Makes sense.
Because you want that portion forgiven if you can. But the materials aren't forgivable. So you can use the EIDL for that.
Okay. Great. Well, Maggie, I know you put together a nice one-pager here that summarizes everything, all the different options available. And I understand that you're being super gracious with your time and expertise, and you're willing to do a free 15-minute consult to both review this and talk about each person's, unique situation, and perhaps if they have questions, you're willing to provide your expertise. Can you share with how people can get this free resource and get in touch with you?
Yes, the best way to reach me is through email. It's Maggie at maggierifecpa.com. So it's really easy to remember. And just shoot me an email and tell me that you saw the webinar with Small Biz Stacey and that you want to talk about the CARES Act.
Do me a favor, just so we're clear, spell out the spelling of your name so people have it.
It's Maggie at MaggieRifecpa.com.
Excellent. And if you guys didn't know, I forgot to say it at the beginning, Maggie is part of my mastermind group, and she has just been so generous in coming into the mastermind calls and sharing her expertise and really helping the whole group understand how they can thrive and prosper in their businesses. If you want to learn more about my mastermind group, reach out to me, smallbizstacy@gmail.com. So Maggie, any last parting words to the small business owner who right now is still a little uncertain of what's happening?
Don't wait to apply. Get in line because you want to get your packet in there. You can always provide more supporting documentation when the loan officer calls you. But you just want to get in the queue.
Okay, so there you have it from Maggie. Do it now. Take advantage of everything that's out there. Why not? And see what you get approved for. All right. Thank you, Maggie, for coming on. Thank you for those who joined us live. I'm Small Business Stacey, your small biz marketing specialist, here to help you get your marketing into action and help you become a small biz marketing whiz. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.
This podcast was brought to you by Small Business Stacey, the small biz marketing specialist. Want to know the 6 simple steps that will double, even triple your business in the next 30 days? Go to smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/transform and finally achieve the successful and profitable business you always knew you'd have. That's smallbizmarketingspecialist.com/transform.